It's major indoor lacrosse on the deuce. Tonight, the rookies, the young pups, the new meat. The Charlotte Cobras hope to snake bite the Rochester Nighthawks.
At 0-2, the Cobras are the only team in the middle without a win. But this true expansion team has built a foundation for success, starting in goal with Dwight Metke, who won a championship for the Wings in 1990.
The guy has the reputation of an outstanding goalie, and we're looking for him to do that for us. We need a stopper in the back. And, clearly we're going to generate offense off of a good defense, and that starts with making saves.
The city of Charlotte has experienced expansion euphoria. The Carolina Panthers surprised the NFL with a 7-9 record, but started 0-4. Can the Cobras sneak up on the Nighthawks like their NFL counterpart?
We can't take any team lightly. We got to go out and do the same thing as if we were playing the Philadelphia Wings or the Buffalo Bandits. It's a big game, and every game's a big game in such a short season.
The Nighthawks have quickly risen to the top of the mill in offensive firepower, and surprisingly, their leader in scoring is Chris Driscoll, who hopes to rip rope for a rout in Rochester tonight. The War Memorial in Rochester, another sellout crowd here tonight. My name is Quinn Kesnick. I'll be joined by Christy Lee on the sideline. It's the expansion Charlotte Cobras against the Rochester Nighthawks, smarting from a loss last week against the New York Saints. The key story tonight, Paul Gate, the most dominant player in major indoor lacrosse history, will not play due to a nagging back injury that he suffered about a year ago and flared up recently. Take a look. Highlights from last year. This is against Baltimore in the Baltimore Arena. Brian Kronberger decking Gate into the boards, aggravating a disc in his lower back. Gate played the rest of the season at less than 100%. And then this year, opening night against the New York Saints, Gate is pummeled to the turf. He did not return in the second half. He scored 4 goals in the first half. Did play last week at the Coliseum in New York and scored 3 goals. Rochester definitely has to step up. Let's swing it down to Christy Lee, who's on the Rochester bench with Barry Pallas.
Thank you, Quint. Yes, we're going to coach Pallas. What can we expect without Paul Gate in the lineup? What specifically are you going to do to the Nighthawks?
I can't hear you, Christy.
I'm sorry. Without Paul Gate in the lineup, what specifically have you changed to compensate for the loss of Paul in the Nighthawks?
Well, what we're trying to do is just look at different combinations on our left-hand side, and we just want to rest him for we got a big 4-game swing after the Charlotte. We're not taking him lightly, but we just want to make sure Paul's 100%.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach Pallas. We will be seeing a lot of offense from a lot of different guys step up because of Paul Gate being absent. But we're ready to check out the goalie matchups with Quint and get to a face-off. 2 of the best in the league, Steve Chugger Dietrich and Dwight Metke, who's emerged from a 3-year retirement. Remember, Metke played for Philadelphia in the early 1990s. We're set to face it off. It'll be Rex Lions for the Nighthawks in their home teal, purple, and white against the Charlotte Cobras, black, red, and bronze. Here's the opening face, tonight's referee, Bill Fox. We've got Fox mic'd. We've got both coaches mic'd, and Christy will be hearing from her periodically also. Rochester controls the opening face-off. This is Driscoll operating on the near side. This is the first unit for Rochester without Gate. They've made considerable changes in this line. This is Tom Emick seeing action for the first time this year. He has the ball checked away. Cobras on the attack for the first time. Streaking all alone, Ken Fascinaro. Fascinaro robbed by Dietrich. Getting physical in the corner, double team. Delayed call coming up. And we've got some fisticuffs early. Tom Emick.
37 started it.
37's in the box. 2 minutes, 1 man, 2 minutes. What do you got? Okay.
Take a look at the replay. Fox sorting out the call. Take a look at the replay. Here's Fascinaro after the shot. Gets cross-checked into the boards by Ryder and then dragged down. Emick comes over and just pummels him into the boards. Emick has been inserted into the lineup specifically to add physical intensity, and you can see right there Tom Emick making his presence felt. He led Rochester. He led Rochester in penalty minutes last year.
4-4.
Barry Pallas last week in their loss to New York, they lost 15-14. He expressed a lack of energy and a lack of intensity on behalf of his players. And I think Tom Emmerich right there showed that this Nighthawk squad is ready to play tonight.
Charlotte penalty to number 6, Mike Murphy, 2 minutes for roughing.
There's Palace on the sideline. They had their, this is Joe Seibold, first-year coach out of Charlotte, former 4-time All-American outdoor player at the University of North Carolina. Looks like we've got matching penalties right now, so we'll play at 4-on-4. Chris Bates, one of the 2 veteran players on the Charlotte Cobra squad. Bates and Metke are the only Cobras with experience in the league. Bates tries to beat Dietrich low. Dietrich just loves to play here in the War Memorial. And Rochester does also. They are 5-1 in their 2-year career here. On the road, they're 1-5. So this is a team that's very tough to beat in this arena. Kerwick, easy save from Metke. Kerwick's another one of the Nighthawk players being inserted into the lineup this week. They've made 4 significant changes. Emick, Kerwick, and you'll see 2 rookies, Fietta and Colsey. The Cobras attacking. A little slow to get organized. This is Durkee on the far side. This is Smith. Smith looking inside. Smith spinning in, scores. Brett Smith took Matt Kerwick to the cooker and bounced the ball between the legs of Steve Dietrich. Nice matchup there for Smith going against the smaller Kerwick. Take a look at Matt Kerwick. He's one of the smallest players in the league. Smith realizes that he leans in, uses his body, inside roll, a little tiptoe action on the crease, and the Cobras are up 1-0, 13-16 here to go in the first quarter. Reggie Thorpe controls the break. He's got a man in front, Dwayne Jacobs. Here's Jacobs. No goal, Jacobs faking Metke, but Metke got a foot. Beautiful balance there by Dwight Metke. Jacobs threw him at least 3 or 4 fakes. Look for face-offs to be a key tonight. This one area that Charlotte really has had a problem. They don't have a designated face-off specialist. And in their first 2 games against New York, they ended up spending a lot of time on the defensive end because of their inability to control the face-offs. Charlotte's now going to have a man-up opportunity in 30 seconds. If they can control, that'll happen in about 15 seconds. Charlotte will go up a man as they attempt to clear. Here's Durkee across the mid-stripe. Oglesby on the far side, down low. Penalty is released. You'll see Murphy streaking towards the bench. Now Charlotte will have a 5-on-4 opportunity for 30 seconds. Outside shot. Wide shot clock was down low. That's why they shot. Here's Fietta. Beautiful defense by Langhoff. Forcing him down the side. He really didn't have a good angle. Fietta looking for help. He's double teamed on the near side. Charlotte is up a man. They should double team. Pass in front. Jacobs. Off the shoulder pad of Metke. We've got a whistle.
Time out! My time!
Good job. Plug it in. Good job.
And we'll be back to the barn in Rochester, New York, where the Charlotte Cobras lead the Rochester Nighthawks by the score of 1-0.
Tonight's major indoor lacrosse league game of the week is brought to you by Bud Light, the official sponsor of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. Make it a Bud Light. And by STX Lacrosse Equipment, the name in lacrosse sticks, equipment, and apparel.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Quinn Kesnick, filling in for Leif Elsmo, who's back in Baltimore. His wife is expecting. The entire crew here wish our best extended to the entire Elsmo family. Let's take a look at the face-to-face, some of the key matchups here tonight. And on offense, for the Charlotte Cobras, look for Pat McCready to step up. He's got 4 goals in the first 2 games. Cam Bomberry for the Rochester Nighthawks, 4 goals, 2 assists. He's got one of the fastest shots in the league at about 102 miles per hour. One of the keys tonight for the Nighthawks is Chris Driscoll. You know, last year Driscoll's really considered a complementary player behind Paul Gate. This year he's got to step up, especially tonight with Paul Gate not in the lineup. So if you're the Rochester Nighthawks, you're really looking for some of these complementary players to step up and fill that void. Let's swing it down to Christy Lee.
On the Rochester Nighthawks bench, joining me, Dwayne Jacobs. Dwayne, you come into this game 5-4. You've got 5 goals, 4 assists. You're one of the big offensive guys. How are you going to make up for the loss of Paul Gate?
I don't think it'll be one particular guy making up for all Paul's goals. I think everybody on the bench here has to pick it up in some way in their play, and hopefully some guys who aren't normally, scoring a lot of goals will chip in for 1 or 2 here and there, and hopefully that'll make up the difference.
Well, we'll look for some goals from Dwayne Jacobs as we get set for some more action. Q?
Jacobs is one of the keys for the K-Hawks, as their fans call them. Here's Sudan up top. Star player at the University of Massachusetts. He was a first-team All-Pro in 1994. Really one of the finer athletes on this K-Hawks squad. The Nighthawks right now are just trying to kill some time. They're down a man for another minute. And that's why Driscoll threw that shot towards Metke. The shot clock, got a 30-second shot clock here in indoor lacrosse, was about to expire. So the Cobras set to go on the power play. Oglesby, fast and arrow back to Oglesby. Oglesby from about 5 yards. You can see Dietrich sneak out of the goal. He likes to cut down the angle on those outside shots. If you can get one more pass in that situation down low, Dietrich is completely out of the goal. That's something that the Cobras need to work on their power play. Pinch the outside players and make that one more pass. 25 seconds to go. Take a look at the home again. Statistic. The Nighthawks just love this facility. 5-1 here on the road. They're a real pathetic 1-5. Nice defense by the Cobras. Far side to Cote. Dips underneath Driscoll. Off the pipe. Cody hit the pipe. Little dip and dunk move. Fox saying that Driscoll, take a look, this is a beautiful move, shielding his stick from Driscoll and rattling the ball off the crossbar. He was pushed in the crease, and that's why the Cobras will maintain possession. Franco behind the back, and Dietrich makes another save. He's got a fast break that Driscoll can handle, and he can't. Look for Charlotte really to be patient in their offense. They struggled last weekend against Boston in just the number of shots they took. They only took about 30 shots a game, and meanwhile Boston averaged double that, 60 shots a game. They need to get in the flow. Nice save by Dietrich. Ryder bringing it up near side, and Lemon is dumped. We're going to have a delayed call coming up against the Cobras, and Metke makes the save.
What number? 2-2. It's 22, 2 minutes, second from behind.
Watch, this will be a push from behind with possession right there, no question about it. Lemon had his momentum going forward. Katanchuk for Charlotte dumps him. And this is where the Nighthawks can really hurt you. Polgate not on this unit tonight. Bomberry, he's the point man. This is Driscoll, back to Bomberry. You've got Lyons, he's inserted into this unit for Polgate. Jacobs down low, and Peter Park down low also. Near side, Driscoll tried the one touch, and the Cobras will break. They've got a 3-on-2 if they can get a substitution out of the box. They don't. Here's McCready, their leading scorer. He's in, he scores! Pat McCready putting the Charlotte Cobras up 2-0 here in the first quarter. Stunning this sold-out War Memorial. This is a shorthanded goal. You know, a lot of times guys don't play good defense shorthanded, and that was a prime example of that. Regardless of whether your team has a power play or you all even, you've got to play better defense than that, and give McCready some credit there, giving the big stick fake, taking it underneath, and beating Dietrich. We talked about him. He's one of the young players for this Charlotte Cobra team out of Niagara. Played in the Canadian Junior Box League, so he does have some indoor experience. There's only about 3 or 4 players on the Cobra squad with indoor experience. The Nighthawks still on the power play. Jacobs has got the ball top of the screen, down low to Driscoll. Bomberry, not afraid to shoot. He's got 8 shots in the year and 4 goals. The guy knows how to rip rope. Here he is. Metke up to the task. Jacobs with the rebound, down low to Lyons, stuffed by Metke. Nice ground ball work there by the Nighthawks. They had 3 bodies on that ball, only 1 for the Cobras. This is Bomberry up top. Metke with a piece. Lions controls. Reset the shot clock. 30 seconds to go on the foul. We've got 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Metke with another save. He was hot last week against New York, and that's continuing here as he has shut out the Nighthawks so far this first quarter. Driscoll, far side to Jacobs. And Metke,
My ball, please.
we're going to have a push on that play. I thought we were going to have a call against the goaltender for moving the goal, but Metke, you could see, lunged and the goal moved. And he's discussing it with the official on the far side. 14 seconds to go. The Cobras have done a nice job killing this penalty. Dwight Metke is on fire. This is Lions up top. Bomberry. Box fake and another save, and that'll go into the lower deck. Folks, that shot is going at about 100 miles per hour.
Timeout. My time. It's a timeout.
2-0. The Charlotte Cobras looking to upset the Rochester Nighthawks here at the barn. Welcome back to the barn in Rochester, New York. A little shocker so far. The Charlotte Cobras up 2-0. My name is Quinn Kesnick. I'm joined by Chris Dealey on the sideline. The Nighthawks have just failed to score on a power play. Credit Charlotte goalie Dwight Metke with some stellar goaltending. We're all even right now. Far side Lions, another save by Metke. Controls his own rebound. He's hounded by Smith, who has scored one of the goals for the Cobras. Lions behind the back to Jacobs. Metke with a kick save, lost the rebound momentarily. This guy is an absolute brick wall. Let's swing it down to Christy Lee on the Rochester bench.
You know, Quint, coming into today's game, we sat here in pregame. You were with me. You heard it. Everybody was saying Rochester was going to win this one. It was going to be easy. 25-5. Charlotte being an expansion team, not knowing the indoor game that well. But I don't think these Nighthawks ever bet on Dwight Metke. Although, as you can see, even Dwight Metke can make a mistake, and Rochester is right back in the game. As Lions does score. Oh, Randy Mearns, I'm sorry. Randy Mearns, a big defensive guy for these Nighthawks, and that's a huge goal for them.
That's right. Here's Mearns and Jacobs on a 2-on-2. And Mearns just shoots the ball between the legs of Metke. I think he used the Charlotte Cobra as a screen. But that's typical. You send it down to the bench when a team is struggling and they score. Here's McCready for the Cobras. But getting back to what you're saying, Christy, it seems as if Rochester, without Paul Gate in their lineup, putting some rookies in, it almost sent the team a message that this was going to be an easy game, and we can tell already it is not going to be an easy game. This is Murphy driving through the middle of the Nighthawk defense. Loose ball in front, shot clock down to 5 seconds. Nice job by Reggie Thorpe. Look out! Oh!
Back over and back. Violation.
Backcourt violation. Got to be impressed with the Charlotte Cobras. They have not made many mistakes defensively. They're getting some outstanding goaltending, and they're finishing their quality shot opportunities. Here they are on offense. This is Oglesby, far side. Nice look in front, behind the back. Didn't have much of an angle. That was fast and arrow out of Duke. 3-on-2 for the Nighthawks. Silcott can't control. Kerwick does, however. To Ryder, he'll dive in front.
Reset.
Off the iron. Delayed call coming up against Bates for a hold.
Hold 20. Charlotte, number 20. 2 minutes holding. You're 4-5.
Move down, fellas.
That was Chris Bates with that holding foul. Let's swing it down to Christy Lee, who's standing by with Randy Mearns.
Randy, you scored the first goal for your Nighthawks and put them right back in it. Do you think that, are you a little surprised at Charlotte coming out that quick?
Well, they're coming out pretty quick. They got some good legs, but we just haven't buried our chances. We've had a few good opportunities, but those will come. We just got to tighten up on defense a little bit more and just keep the pressure going.
Quickly talk about shooting against Dwight.
Not too really much. Basically just took a shot from outside, try to go around him a little bit. He's a stand-up goalie, so you got to either pick the corner or make him move. Just lucky shot, that's all.
There you go. You heard it. He's a stand-up goalie. Quint?
And Dietrich's a stand-up goalie also. Two of the finer netminders in the league. Dietrich making a beautiful kick save there. Medke, one of his key assets is his outlet pass, and you saw it on that last play. About a 40, 30-yard pass down the floor for the breakaway, but Dietrich was up to the task. Here's Bomberry, looks for the through pass. Blocked in front. 1:15 left to go in the penalty. 4:35 left to go in the first quarter. And if you've just joined us, the Charlotte Cobras are leading 2-1. Near side, the Nighthawks have a 3-on-2 if they can hustle. This is Driscoll. Off the post. Reset the shot clock. This will not be a backboard violation. Driscoll with a laser off the post. He had Medke beat. 45 seconds to go on this power play. 3 pipes so far for the Nighthawks. You've got to wonder how long Medke can withstand this bombardment. Eventually, you got to think he's going to tire. This is Jacobs, time and room. Blocked in front. I think it hit his own man, Peter Park. Risky outlet pass. This is McCready. He's got one of the 2 Charlotte Cobra goals, and he looks to slow it up with about 18 seconds to go. The Cobras will just try to kill this penalty. There's 16 to go on the shot clock. Cody, harassed by Dietrich and Thorpe.
Official timeout.
3:26 to go here at the barn. Shockingly, the Charlotte Cobras are up 2-1 on the hometown Rochester Nighthawks. Chris Driscoll pinging pipe. He's one of the key players for Rochester. Watch this. Just a laser to the near side. And you can see it moved the goal off the stripe right there. Driscoll, 24 goals 2 years ago. 24 points 2 years ago. 35 points last season. He's got 12 already in 2 games. A legitimate all-pro potential, Chris Driscoll. 3:17 to go. Matt Ryder trying to take Bates to the goal. Nice defense by Bates. It's interesting, Chris Bates, when he played in Philadelphia, was one of the role players. Now he's got to come to Charlotte and be an offensive force. He's definitely a leader. He's a captain. Here he is with the ball far side. Flips to the rookie Oglesby. Outstanding midfielder in the outdoor game at Duke University. Back to Bates. Time and room off the pipe. Chris Bates playing on the left-hander side. He's actually a right-hander. He had time. He had Dietrich beat. He pinged the pipe. We've seen quite a bit of that already tonight. Matt Kerwick, far side. Looks in front. Picked off nicely by Oglesby. They got a 3-on-1. Here's Charlotte. Far side. Back to Oglesby. They can't connect. Those are the kind of opportunities that the Cobras going to need to capitalize on. Shot clock down 18 seconds. Murphy does a nice job hustling across the midline to avoid a backcourt violation. And the Cobras look to substitute. So nice defense by Charlotte. They had a 3-on-1. They need to convert. Russ Hurd, one of the Canadians. Here he is. Dumped in front. And that'll be a shot clock violation. Hurd is one of the bigger players in the league. You can see he just likes to lean in.
Time count violation.
And use his body.
Let's go. Do it up. Let's go.
$1:50 to go here in the first quarter in Rochester. The Charlotte Cobras are leading 2-1. I'm Quinn Kesnick, joined by Christy Lee on the Rochester bench. She'll be switching back and forth. But the shocker right now is the fact that the Rochester Nighthawks have only scored 1 goal here in the first quarter. Charlotte, slow to substitute with the 30-second shot clock. It's so important to get your players on and off and then have some time to operate. The shot clock's down to 12, and now finally they're into their offense. That's an area that first-year coach Joey Seivold needs to address. This is Steve Franco. The Nighthawks playing a very condensed defense in front of their goalie. Shot clock winding down. Good job by Rochester defensively. There's no need to play tough defense until the shot clock gets down to about 10 seconds. That's when you want to dig in.
So now we're mixed up to $3.
Rex Lyons taking it to the hoop for himself. Underhand shot. Blocked in front.
Back it up, back it up. No, back it up. Back it up. No, you don't. No, you don't. Back it up. Hold on. We got a penalty right here, Dwight, please. Thanks very much. Thank you.
We're going to have a slashing violation.
16
foul coming up against Steve Franco.
You guys are killing us. Short man. Short man. Short man.
Right there.
Charlotte coach Joey Seibel, take a look at the hustle index. Rochester just out-hustling Charlotte. That's for two reasons. Number one, Charlotte's been trying to kill penalties for most of the first quarter. The other reason is they're all new to this league. It is very difficult. That's their fourth post. It's very difficult in this league to get accustomed. The ball's coming off the wall, coming off of players. It takes a couple games to get in that focus. Metke with another beautiful save. 4 posts for the Nighthawks.
Balls up top. Balls up top.
The veteran Dwight Metke won a championship in Philadelphia in 1990. Played sparingly in 1992 and was actually in goal when Buffalo defeated Philadelphia in overtime in that championship game. Lives in Western Canada. This is Driscoll. Far side to Jacobs. Robbed by Metke. Lions to Jacobs. You had to wonder how long Metke could hold on here, shot after shot, and finally Jacobs from about 10 yards beats him to the stick side. The Cobra defense was condensing so much around Metke. You cannot give a shooter like Dwayne Jacobs that kind of time and room, even against Metke. So we're tied up at 2. 18 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Power play goal by Jacobs. Ties it up and gets his crowd back on their feet. Mearns, who has one already. Near side to Silcott. And the first quarter comes to a close. We're tied up at 2.
You get on the field.
As the expansion, Charlotte Cobras and their head coach Joey Seibel looking good here in Rochester.
I think that in the first year, we have the chance to win some games. I think that how many we win depends on how our guys respond in the first part of the season. If we lose our first 3 and our guys are crushed, it's going to be a poor season. But I think that good teams, learn from their mistakes and grow from them. And I would like to think that win or lose in the first couple, we're going to get better as the season goes on.
Well, the Cobras have already gotten better. Take a look at after 2 games. They played Boston in a home and away series last weekend. Actually, this is tonight's stats. Look at Rochester, 31 goals, 2 games. Charlotte, 13 in 2 games. Right now, Rochester is out shooting Charlotte 24-10. If that keeps up, Rochester's going to shoot almost 100 times tonight. Charlotte needs to stay out of the penalty box. 2-2, second quarter. Charlotte now moving right to left. Matt Oglesby, one of the better athletes on the Charlotte Cobra squad. To Bates inside. Chris Bates beats Dietrich. Charlotte up 3-2. Bates had 2 goals last year for Philadelphia. Here he is, beating Dietrich down low. Inspirational leader. He's going to school at the University of North Carolina right now to get a master's in psychology. Definitely the leader of this squad. He's got the experience. He's got 2 championship rings from his years up in Philadelphia. He's really basically an assistant coach for the Charlotte Cobras. Driscoll controls the loose ball. Dumped by Langhoff. 2-on-2. Here come the Cobras. McCready. Rope! McCready beating Dietrich down between the legs. 2-on-2. Here he is, just shooting the ball by Thorpe. And Dietrich burned again down low. 4-2 now. Charlotte doubling up on Rochester. Face-off kicked back into Rochester's defensive end. Any intensity that Barry Pallas talked about this team having early on tonight. We do not see it right now. Offensively, without Paul Gate in this lineup, they are anemic. They're getting the shots in their power play, but on their 5-on-5 opportunities, they're not getting many shots.
Put the ball down.
Let's swing it down to Christy Lee, who is now on the Charlotte Cobra sideline.
With the guy who just scored the last goal, Pat McCready. Pat, you guys have come out of the box, and you are doing a hell of a job. Are you surprised at your own selves?
No, we're a hard-working team, and hard work is 9/10 of the game, so we're working hard.
All right, Pat McCready, one of the Canadians on this team.
Talk about hard work. Joey Seibold, their coach, preaches that. And it's evident here tonight. We've got a delayed call coming up against Rochester. Dwayne Jacobs.
Let's go in the rough. 2 in the rough. 11 white. 2.
Actually, Reggie Thorpe is going to be whistled.
Dewey's out there. 11 white. 2 minutes. Roughing.
The freaking net. That's a 5.
You can see Thorpe in the box.
You got it.
Take a look at the penalty. It'll be off the ball.
Ball's up top.
In the middle, right there. I'm not sure where it was against Thorpe. Regardless, I think it was off the ball. I think off the ball, Thorpe was cross-checking the man in front of the cage. Regardless, Charlotte is up a man right now. 5-on-4 power play. Oglesby down low to Cody, who's covered well by Silcott. Back in front to Oglesby. Can't handle. Shot clock down to 14. Got to watch the backcourt violation. Good hustle by Sudan. He flips it to Mertz. Back to Sudan.
Let's go. Pick it up.
Short-handed goal by Timmy Sudan. Nice hustle initially on that play by Sudan, forcing Rochester to avoid the backcourt. Mearns was there to scoop it up. Back to Sudan, a little give-and-go action, and that's a short-handed goal for the Nighthawks. We've got a timeout right now. The visiting Charlotte Cobras are leading 4-3. 12:32 to go here in the first quarter. Joey Seibold's got to be happy with the way his Cobra squad is reacting here tonight. That was real time. That was a replay of Dwight Metke being pelted by a scorching line shot off of his face mask that actually broke his glasses. You can see Metke wears some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Kurt Rambis-like glasses underneath his helmet. He's back in goal. He's okay. We've got 9:47 to go here until halftime, and the Cobras are still up. The Nighthawks have the ball, looking for the tying goal. Peter Park, who's been quiet thus far. Those are the two biggest players in the league. Park covered by Murphy, looking for Bomberry in front.
Charlotte ball.
Moving pick violation on Roy Colsey. Colsey, one of the 4 rookies inserted into this Rochester Nighthawk lineup. And the way things are going, you've got to think Barry Pallas has got to be questioning that decision. Almost without Paul Gate in the lineup, it was almost as if he thought his Rochester team would easily walk here tonight, and they have not. Dietrich controls the rebound in front to Emick. Long pass in front. Fietta, acrobatic shot. Jacobs does a nice job trailing the rebound.
Hey, shift out.
This is Ryder. That's off the back of the net. In front, back to Ryder. He can't finish. He had Metke out of the goal and could not finish. Whistle. Oh. That's a withholding call against Katanchik. He was down on the ground and was holding the ball between his legs. And with his glove, the Nighthawks control. 8:34 to go. 25 on the shot clock. Reset it. Jacobs. Dewey Jacobs, second goal. This is where he'll kill you. He shields his stick so well from the defense. That wasn't bad defense by Chris Cote. He's just got to get into it more. Jacobs, one of the bigger players at 6'3", 220 pounds, uses his stick. He kept his stick out in front of his body. There's no way you're going to reach around him and make that check. And that's where Jacobs is so dangerous, off the ball, cutting to the goal. We're tied up at 4. Sudan taking on the entire Charlotte team. Medkey stuffs him. Driscoll reset the shot clock. Emical uncorked the shot. Easy save by Medkey. Rebound!
Holding for 5. I'll take him. Number 5 plays.
Here's the penalty. Take a look at Colin McGarren on the rebound. That's Lemon leaning in, and he's just tackled by McGarren. That's a holding violation. Bill Fox, our head referee, right there to make the call. That's Lemon on the sideline. This is the Nighthawk power play minus Paul Gate. Paul Gate composes about 26% of this Nighthawk offense. He's not playing tonight with a back injury. They've been sluggish offensively so far. Bomberry. Near side to Jacobs. Back to Driscoll. To Jacobs. Sellout crowd here at the barn liking that one. That's the first lead Rochester has taken tonight. Jacobs has got a hat trick already. This is textbook give and go. You'll see Jacobs right there with it to Driscoll. Jacobs sneaks down the middle and beats Medkey. Nice job, Driscoll and Jacobs stepping up in the absence of Paul Gate. And Charlotte's coming back. Here's Chris Bates. He's got one already tonight. He'll take it himself. Rope. So Chris Bates counterattacks, silencing the sellout crowd. Rochester had the lead there for about 10 seconds, and Bates playing on that left side. He's actually a righty. Key face-off, you'll see Bates come in. No slide on the defense. Dietrich's got to stay in the goal there. There's no place for a goalie in this league coming out to try to make that hit. He's got to stay in the goal and cut down the angle. 5-5, 6:44 to go here until halftime. Lions on a 3-on-2, and he beats Medkey. If this game opens up into a transition-style game, the hometown Nighthawks have a distinct advantage. They can run and they can finish on the run. It's a 3-on-2, Lions shooting left-handed far side. Beautiful accuracy. He shot it early. In that situation, when you're running with the ball, the longer you hold it down the side, the less of an angle you had. Lions gave that ball up while he was in the middle of the field, and it really helped him out. Beautiful shot. Driscoll in front. Park sets the pick, but Medkey is there. Charlotte's got a 2-on-1. This is McCready. Flip to Langhoff. Oh, off the pipe. We're going to have an officials timeout here. 5:55 to go until halftime. Joey Seibold and the Charlotte Cobras are right in this game, 6-5.
Huddle up right now.
Immediately following this great indoor lacrosse league action, you'll see NCAA basketball at its best when Virginia Tech travels to take on St. Bonaventura. That game should start right around 9:30 here on ESPN2. Well, we're back with the Nighthawks leading the Charlotte Cobras 6-5, and on the bench with head coach Joe Seibold of the Charlotte Cobras. Joe, before we game started, you told me the penalties have posed a problem for your team, and penalties are playing a big factor already tonight.
Absolutely. In the first quarter, they scored 2 goals, and both were only a short man. If we stay out of the box, we can play. If we're in the box, we're not as good.
Are you pleasantly surprised so far?
Absolutely. The guys are giving a great effort, and what we're looking for now is to stay with it. Understand that we can play with these guys, but we have to be willing to do it all game long.
And you heard it straight from the head coach's mouth, Quint.
Joey Seibold sounds hoarse already, one of the more animated coaches in the league. Reggie Thorpe doing a beautiful job on the short-handed situation. He'll go into the corner with two Cobras to see who comes out with it. It's Oglesby, the point man on this power play unit. 5:21 to go. Rochester up by 1. Charlotte has led most of this game. They're being outshot 33-16, and yet they lead. This is Langhoff. Look how condensed the Nighthawk defense is, and it burns them. Matt Oglesby stepping up into the seam. Rochester's defense was condensed in front of Dietrich. They were too tight. You cannot give Oglesby this shot. Look how close they are. Look how close the shot ends up. Here's Oglesby. He has time to look at the goal right there and uncorks it. And Dietrich looked to be guessing low, down on his knees. Oglesby, a rookie, with the goal. We're tied up at 6. This is Durkee near side, down low. That's where you want to start your offense. You want to get the ball down low into the corner and then operate. Nice pick and roll between Smith and Durkee. Durkee could not handle. You're seeing a real box indoor style of play for this expansion team. The New York Saints and the Baltimore Thunder have taken years to develop these indoor fundamentals of this half-court offense. Rochester,
2 minutes left,
Charlotte.
Go to the head. 2 minutes left, 11.
One time looking back. One time, come on. Power 2 in the door.
Okay, give me 2 rights.
Reggie Thorpe.
Chris and Park, ready to go.
Strolling towards
Maddie,
the
take
box.
the lefty
The Nighthawks will be down for another 2 minutes. 4:27 to go here before halftime. Quentin Kesnick joined by Christy Lee, who's on the Charlotte Cobras bench right now. The Cobras are going to have another power play. First quarter, the Cobras spent most of the quarter killing off penalties. Conversely, Rochester now finds himself down a man. Oglesby, who had that last goal, to Bates. Shot clock down to 16 seconds. Through pass to Fasanaro into the corner. The ball goes.
Rochester ball.
Nice job by Silcott on that loose ball. Sensing the pressure from behind, there's no reason to fight it. He fell to the turf and drew the whistle. Rochester looking to kill some time off the penalty. We're tied up at 6. Driscoll. Strong move to the goal. Rebound in front. Count it. Randy Mearns. Mearns with his second goal of the game. Watch the rebound off the Driscoll shot. You'll see Mearns one-touch the ball into the goal right there. Goes over the line. We'll see who they give the goal the credit to there. It came over the line, came out, and then back in. Nice effort by Randy Mearns, diving in front of the cage. 7-6. They're going to give that goal to Driscoll. Mearns' shot, they're saying, did not go in, and then Driscoll made the follow-up effort and got the ball into the net. So give that one to Driscoll, the guy we talked about earlier. Here's Durkee. The Cobras still on a 5-on-4 advantage. Pass deflected nicely by Sudan, picked off by Jacobs. And Mearns controls. Driscoll looking up the clock. Shot clock down to 17. Penalty down to 20 seconds. Looking to milk the clock. Peter Park. Nice defense. Tenacious defense by the Cobras. Peter Park, one of the biggest players in the league, leaning in with his body. He was triple teamed. And we're all even as Reggie Thorpe chases down Pat McCready. Rebound controlled by Mearns, thrown away. And we're going to have a timeout taken by first-year coach Joey Seibold as the Charlotte Cobras are within 1 goal here with 2 minutes to go before halftime.
The only way to win any lacrosse game, indoor or out, is by winning loose balls. That time we'll do it. We got to do it. We can't bang one pass across the middle. We can't run through one pick and shoot. Fellas, right? We understand that. Off the pick and roll, look to change alleys. If you don't have the shot, change alleys, right? Pat McCready came off the pick and roll. That's all right. Let's go. Once.
Joey Seibold really talking about some basic fundamentals of indoor lacrosse offense. About the 3 alleys. They like to divide the floor into 3 sections. One along the side, one up the middle, and one on the far side. Talking about swinging the ball from alley to alley. If it's not there, change the alley. And what that does is put a lot of pressure on the defense, and it spreads the defense. Charlotte has got a lot of help offensively from Johnny Meridian, who spent a lot of time down in Charlotte, former coach at Buffalo. Really helped them in a half-court offense. You can see that tonight. They're only trailing by 1. No backcourt violation. Charlotte controls here. The players looking for a backcourt violation. Shot clock was trickling down to 3 seconds. That's why we saw that desperation shot by Fasanaro. Stellar defense by the Nighthawks. 1:33 to go until halftime. Rex Lyons, he's got it near side. We're going to have a whistle on the far side. Bates and Lemon going at it.
1 each. Roughing. Okay, thank you very much.
We're going to have matching calls right there. Off the ball. So often in indoor lacrosse, there's a lot of stuff that goes on off the ball. That time, Bates and Lemon were going at it. Matching 2-minute penalties with 1:29 to go here in the second quarter. We'll play 4-on-4. I'd have to say that 4-on-4 would benefit Rochester with their experience and their finishing abilities. This is Sudan. Nice save by Medke. Reset the shot clock. Driscoll, moving pick. Timmy Sudan looked more like a guard.
Change!
Seibold calling for a change. And the Cobras don't change. A beautiful pass by Oglesby down low. And Katanchik finishes. What a pass by Oglesby. Watch this pass. Right in front. Driscoll tries to make the check, and Dietrich is caught out of the goal. We mentioned earlier how Dietrich likes to come out against a shooter. That's the one pass I'm talking about. A beautiful goal by the Cobras. 2 first-year players right there connecting. Beautiful. Jordan Pippin on the fast break. He threw it to the spot, and he converted. A lot of confidence there for a first-year team. Takes a lot of confidence to jam that pass in there. Oglesby could have taken it himself. Very unselfish play. Dietrich up to the task. That was a big one for Charlotte. 7-7 now, 46 seconds to go. We're playing 4-on-4. We got matching penalties against Lemon and Bates. Bomberry, he's got a cannon. Took something off that one. Tried to beat Medke to the near side. Sudan, who's been very active tonight. Dishes to Bomberry. Lights it up. Pegging Medke right in the chest. That was one of the easiest saves Dwight Medke has made all night. 19 seconds to go in the half. Shot clock is off. And we're going to have a timeout called by Barry Powless on the Rochester sideline.
Oh, fuck that. We're just going to go.
Let's see what Barry's got planned for the last 15 seconds.
Okay, listen up. On all face-offs, you guys got to look to the bench. So we know what line's going on the floor. We almost should have had a penalty right there. So it was 4-on-3. Okay? Okay? So just a 4-on-4. Okay? We're going to go with the first line out there. Get the ball deep on the left-hand side. Let's roll towards the ball, okay? You got 15 seconds. Get it down to single digits before you go inside.
I need 4 fresh guys. 4 fresh guys. Hey, it's very important, guys. Relax. 15. Let's go. Hey, 1 rebound. 1 rebound, right? 1 rebound. Go ahead. 4 fresh guys.
We heard Barry Pallas designing the play. You know, last week in the same situation, Pallas chose to pull his goalie against New York, and it backfired. They pulled the goalie. New York controlled it and threw a length of court shot that went in to tie it up at halftime. This time he's electing to go 4-on-4, and you can hear Seibold urging his player, 1 rebound, 1 rebound. He doesn't want to give him the second shot. Clock down to 7 seconds. Here's Driscoll inside to Jacobs. Wide. Oh, Mecki almost put it in himself. And we'll go to halftime. 7-7. You've got to be impressed with the Charlotte Cobras. They came out. Their goalie, Dwight Mecki, was on fire early. They went up 2-0. From there, they continued to play well. We thought it would fade away. They did not. They're being outshot 38-22. But they're converting their opportunities. Bates and McCready have been sharp. Oglesby with a beautiful feed on that last goal. You've got to be impressed with their effort, showing improvement from game to game. Remember, in their first game, they lost 17-4. Last week, they lost 19-9. And one of the big reasons they're in this game tonight, tied up at halftime, is Dwight Mecki, who is now standing by with Christy Lee.
Dwight, your leadership is paying off big time in this game. You're going into the locker room tied 7-7, and you've had a wonderful game.
Thanks. Our key was to come out fast the first half, and hopefully we can run them into the ground second half, and maybe our youth and enthusiasm will carry the second half, and they might get tired.
When you heard that Paul Gate wasn't going to play, did you think it was your birthday?
Yeah, that's always a good day when Paul's not playing, or Gary, anybody like that, the caliber.
Yeah, but these guys still have some great offensive shooters coming at you too.
Yeah, their shooting percentage is really high. I'm happy to be where we're at right now.
You're doing a great job. Dwight Mecki, he is a very big leader for this Charlotte Cobra expansion team. Good luck in the second half.
Thanks, Christy.
All right. Well, while we have a time to catch our breaths, the guys are going to relax a little bit before we do the second half. We're going to check out this week's edition of Rules and Tools. Sit back and enjoy.
Rules and Tools, brought to you by Pringles. So fresh, once you pop, you can't stop.
The goal in the Indoor League is 4 feet high by 4.5 feet wide. Now contrast that to the NHL goal that's also 4 feet high, but it's 6 feet wide. The smaller target for lacrosse is because of the great accuracy of shots and the fact that they come from right, left, high, and low. Hockey, of course, the puck always starts from on the ice. Now, even with the great accuracy of the shooters in the middle, when you put a goalie into the 16 square feet, there isn't much to shoot at.
Back in Rochester, tied up at 7. The story has been the Charlotte Cobras, in their first year of existence, have really improved week to week, coming off 2 losses to the Boston Blazers. They look sharp tonight, Dwight Mecki being one of the keys, and really our storyline tonight has been Paul Gate not playing for the Nighthawks. They're scoring some goals, but they really seem confused at times in their half-court offense, looking for someone to step up and fill that void. We're tied at 7. The Cobras now attacking from left to right. This is Oglesby. Nice move towards the center of the field. He missed the goal. The shot clock's down to 4. Dietrich making the easy save. It's a nice move by Oglesby, freeing himself up in front of the goal. This is Murphy. Comes in and bounces the ball over the boards. Fatigue will be a factor in this game. Last week, the Nighthawks were outscored 5-1 in the last 17 minutes against New York and lost that ball game. Coach Seibold, conversely, questions whether the Cobras really have the legs to go 4 quarters. Mecki makes his first save of the second half against Park. Nice scrapping on the near side. The Cobras look to break. They don't have the numbers, and Katanchuk will circle and look for help from the bench. He gets it in the form of Pat McCready. Substitutions on the fly. I'm impressed with this organization. They look like they know what they want to do. They're coming out and doing it. We haven't seen them make many mistakes. Shot clock down to 7. Russ Hurd, saved by Dietrich. Loose ball in front. You got to be careful.
We're going back, Charlotte ball. My ball here, please. Take the ball up top. Holding the stick.
That's head referee Bill Fox. Watch the replay. Dietrich having problems with this rebound. We're going to have a hold call coming up. But watch Timmy Sudan here flick the ball almost into the net. Sudan has scored tonight for the Nighthawks, and he almost scored right there for the Cobras. Here's Hurd. Dietrich comes out to the top of his crease. Hurd again with the rebound. He's in front. Far side. Another stellar save by Dietrich. Sudan controls the rebound. Up the floor. Matt Ryder in front of Mearns. He's got an opportunity. Oh, Mecke robs him. Dwight Mecke falling to the turf. Managed to make that save and hold the rebound. So you can see some of the tremendous skill by the veteran Mecke. Wiping off the rust. He hasn't played in about 3 years. Took the opportunity. Lives in Western Canada. Was living in Charlotte during the lacrosse season. Playing one of his finest games. This is Spencer Gill near side, dodging against Mearns. Looks to go underneath, doesn't have much of an angle. Inside roll, Dietrich with the kick save. Big save there by Dietrich. The Cobras look sharp early, but Dietrich has made 4 saves thus far in the third quarter. I'm Quinn Kesnick, joined by Christy Lee on the sideline. We're tied at 7. You've got to be impressed with this expansion squad from the South. Jacobs in front. So Lemon, he tried to put the ball behind his back. Missed the net, however. Mecke out of the goal. Shot clock violation. Really not a factor right there because Charlotte had controlled the rebound.
Time count violation. Time count violation. Your ball there.
4 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Let's swing it to Christy Lee, who's got Brian Silcott.
Brian, we all know that the best offense is a good defense, and you being a great defensive player, what did the coach say to you at second half? You guys have come out and done a really good job.
We just have to make sure we don't get beat back. You know, as long as we're back there in position to play defense, we're going to be fine. We get in trouble when we get beat up the floor and don't even have guys there to play defense.
All right, you heard it, Brian. They're going to have people there, Quint.
Well, Silcott's one of those guys. He faces off. He kills penalties. He's on the floor quite a bit. Really one of the key role players for Barry Powis. This is Sudan. Outside shot. Beats Mecke over the shoulder. Timmy Sudan lighting up Mecke from the outside. Sudan just fires the outside cannon. Potential screen in front with Peter Park. Sudan's second goal of the night. This is a guy who was a first-team All-Pro in 1994 for Boston. Tonight he's got 2. He's got the potential to be one of the best scorers in the league. Tonight's a big night for him to step up in the absence of Paul Gate. If you just joined us, Paul Gate, who has had that back injury, is not playing tonight.
Scored by number 33, Jim Sue.
And that's been a key factor for Rochester as far as taking the lead. Who's going to step up in his absence? This is McCready for the Cobras on the near side. Shot clock down at 12. McCready dodging in. Not much of an angle there. Dietrich did a good job. We're going to take an officials timeout. The hometown Nighthawks leading by 1, 8-7. Joey Seibold and his Cobras looking to battle back.
You got to make that guy play you. Come here, come here.
Well, it's Super Bowl week. The Steelers and the Cowboys, and on ESPN2, we're going to take you behind the scenes, inside the actions. The Super Bowl marathon begins Sunday, 1 o'clock, back to live action. The Nighthawks.
Rochester ball up top. Loose ball, knock it off, Buckler, knock it off.
You heard it firsthand from Bill Fox. We've got some fisticuffs inside. Matt Ryder. Take a look at the score by period. Identical. It's symmetrical. Here's Jacobs. Nice pick and roll by Mearns. They had the opening. The pass was a little off. Mecke controls the rebound. It was there. And that's something that Rochester needs to do a little more offensively. When Paul Gate's in their lineup, they give it to Paul. And everyone goes, and other teams have to react defensively. Without Paul in the lineup, it's so important for them to really show a lot of two-man plays, a lot of pick and rolls, a lot of screens offensively. They need to do more of that here in the second half. Brett Smith, near side to Gill. Shot clock's going to expire on the Cobras. Stellar defense by Brian Silcott and the rest of the Nighthawk defense. And off the ball, behind the play, Mearns and Smith are going at it. Mearns is going to go to the box. That's Smith right there. He's going to be whistled also. Watch, that's a replay right there. Mearns up high. You can see Mearns' rib guards are hanging low. He's not happy. And Smith is a little upset also with some of the fans around the penalty box. I tell you, this is not a place to mix it up with these fans. These are some tough hometown fans.
Let's go. Let's match up. Come on, fellas, let's go.
I need 4 from the ones.
Looks like matching fouls, 2 minutes apiece for both Smith and Mearns. In that situation, you got to think that Smith did something to Mearns. Mearns came back. Unfortunately for Mearns, the referee was right there. I don't know what he was thinking. 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Driscoll inside. Delayed call coming up.
Let him. Thank you. Okay, go to the bench. Come on in, please. Charlotte, number 5, 2 minutes holding.
Colin McGarren. Take a look at it. McGarren says this is Rochester player clamped on his stick. And right there, you can see McGarren's trying to pull his stick out. But you got to call that. That's a foul any way you look at it. It's a holding violation. 4-on-3, and this is where the Nighthawks can be lethal. They're going to go with Bomberry, Driscoll, Jacobs, and Peter Park down low. Bomberry inside the Park, count it. You can see that one coming a mile away. Peter Park loves to station himself right off the pipe. He's a big target. Watch this passing. You'll get a perfect angle right here. Watch the angles. Boom, right there. Nice shot by Park. Didn't have much of an angle. Medke's got to come out a bit to cut down the angle on Cam Bomberry's shot. He did, and Peter Park burns him from down low. Little confusion off this face-off. We're going to have a timeout taken by Charlotte. They were having problems with the substitution, so Joey Seibold had to burn a penalty here in the third quarter. Rochester up by 2.
4-on-3. We're set.
We're back to a 4-on-3. We'll have a 4-on-3 for 51 seconds. The Nighthawks are up by 2. They can be lethal here. Look for Park down low. Driscoll, nice defense by Katanchuk, who's done a fine job. Driscoll at the midline, shot clock. To Park, back to Jacob. Shot clock's at 23 seconds. Not a factor right there. And Medke controls. 27 seconds left on the foul. Superb forechecking by Driscoll and Park, so they'll get another opportunity at the 4-on-3. Bomberry substituting off the bench. He's got a rocket for a shot to Driscoll. Back to Bomberry. Oh, baby, no. You got a feel for Dwight Medke looking down the stick of a 100-mile-an-hour shot. There it is again. You got a feel for him here. Time and room, one of the fastest shots in the league. There's just absolutely nothing he's going to do about that. You almost hope he doesn't get hit with a laser like that. Bomberry, 100 miles an hour, his 5th goal. He's a rookie. The Bomber can light it up. The Nighthawks up by 3. Teams are at even strength. Ryder looking for Kerwick, far side. Scrapping in the corner. This is Murphy, Harvard graduate. Off to Oglesby. Pretty impressed with Matt Oglesby. Seems to have a good feel for this indoor game. Should improve week to week. Shot clock now down to 10 seconds. Spencer Gill, he better shoot it. 5. there's a weak shot. Nice defense.
McCready! We need full change here, full change. Give me a lefty.
Seibold looking for a full substitution next time down. I think he senses that his team is getting a little fatigued here with 6:20 to go in the third quarter. There's a stage in every game where these teams get awful tired and the play opens up. And that tends to favor the team with the better finishers. In this case, that's Rochester. That's going to be a holding.
Bring the ball back.
Holding violation. Reset the clock. Driscoll off the chest protector of Menke. Emick looking for Lemon down low. This is the first line. They've restructured this line in the absence of Paul Gate. Emick seeing action for the first time this year. A lot of action in front of the net. Nice pass to Driscoll. Doesn't have much of an angle. De-sticked by Spencer Gill, and the Cobras got a 3-on-1. Let's see if the rookies can convert. This is Franco. Nice save by Dietrich. Steve Franco lowered his stick. Dietrich met him. Stick to stick. Big save right there. Charlotte has not had many quality opportunities in the second half, and Dietrich has shut them out now for nearly 10 minutes. Bomberry up top to Sudan. Deflected wide by Menke. Sudan gets his own rebound. Timmy Sudan playing at a different speed tonight, and it shows. Sudan's got a hat trick, and you can see he's just putting it into overdrive tonight. Dodging through two players, dipping his stick, bouncing the ball into the upper quadrant of the goal. Timmy Sudan with a hat trick, and now he'll take the face-off. He's all over the field. Sudan, Driscoll, Jacobs, they're the keys for this Nighthawk squad, because you know Paul Gate's going to get his goals when he's in the lineup. But the complementary players, if they can step up, this is a lethal team, a team that'll challenge for the cup. The Nighthawks have outscored this Charlotte Cobra team 4-1, and it's all started with the defense. Here comes Reggie Thorpe. Doesn't have the numbers, so he'll slow it up and looks to substitute. Nice job by Thorpe, who's one of the finest defensive specialists in the league. Out of Syracuse. Silcott. They're giving Silcott the shot. He elects to feed instead, deflected. Shot clock down to 5. He better shoot it. Outlet by Menke. Harrison. We haven't called his name. This is his first game. He had a shoulder injury. Didn't play against Boston. Again, solid defense by the Nighthawks. They've really picked it up defensively in the second half. Dewey Jacobs looking for numbers. Waits for some help. This is Fieta. That shot's not going to go. Look at the hustle. And it's paying off for the Rochester Nighthawks. They're getting the loose balls. And Menke is tiring for the Charlotte Cobras. Rochester has outscored the Cobras 5-0 here in the third quarter as they're up 12-7. We'll stick around after our game for a little more civilized game. Tennis, the Ford Australian Open tonight live at 11:30. The Nighthawks on a run right now. They've scored 5 in a row. Opening game that we televised, they went on a devastating run. They scored 7 in the second quarter against New York tonight. They've scored 5 here in the third. Whatever Barry Powlis did at halftime, it's working. Emick gets the ball down low in the corner. That's where you want to start your offense. Sets a pick for Lions. To Driscoll. Oh, off the pipe. Cobras have a 3-on-2 if they can push it near side. They've got a 3-on-2. Can they recognize? No. Good hustle.
Defense! Defense!
Pat McCready, he's got a pair of goals. Shot clock halfway down to 15.
Defense!
McCready steps up. That's where Dietrich's so tough. He comes out to the top of the crease. You want to get that one more pass. McCready, far side. Russ Hurd. Right in front. Dietrich didn't see it. Went down. Let's swing it down to Christy Lee, who's on the Charlotte bench. Christy.
Chris Bates, you're the captain of this team. You've got to stop this run by Rochester. Is this where experience comes in?
I think so. I mean, you got to remember, this is our third game together on a big field. You know, we have a small practice facility. You know, we just got to stop their run now and get after loose balls, and that's what's going to make the difference. That's what we did in the first half to stay in it. You know, we got to keep playing hard.
Chris Bates, a member of last year's Philadelphia Wings championship team, and he is a real strong guy on this Charlotte Cobras team.
Not only is he a strong guy, Christy, but he's a smart guy. He knows that they were trailing in ground balls. He hasn't been looking at the monitor. He has no access to stats. And yet he's fully aware that that's the key statistic here in the third quarter, the fact that they have been out-ground balled. Got a whistle. The Nighthawks will control. 1:19 to go in the third quarter. The Nighthawks up by 5. This quarter has been all teal, purple, black, and white of the hometown Rochester Nighthawks. This is Roy Colsey, rookie. Near side to Sudan, up top for Driscoll. Pass in front. Controlled by Metke. Less than a minute to go in the third quarter. It's taken the Cobras a lot of time to get into their half-court offense. Here's Bates. All alone, Bates! Hat trick for Chris Bates. Playing on the left-hand side. If you remember last year for Philadelphia, Bates was playing on his natural right-hand side. Here's a guy that's playing with his weak hand, streaking in all alone, faking Dietrich high. Looks like Dietrich got a piece, but Bates with the hat trick. Big goal. Big goal. It's a momentum stopper for the Cobras. Whistle off that face-off. Silcott being called for some kind of infraction. 35 seconds to go. Brett Smith. Rochester really playing close to Dietrich. They're giving the Cobras the outside shot. Gill controls near side. He's covered by Ryder. Nice pick in front. Blocked by the Adder defense. Shot clock is off. Cobras looking for one more shot before this third quarter ends. And here it is. Kyle Durkee. Ooh. Just missing the net on the far side. So after 3 quarters, it's Rochester 12. The Cobras 8. We'll be back with fourth quarter action. Next week, the Rochester Nighthawks, led by Chris Driscoll and goalie Steve Dietrich, take on the Boston Blazers, who rest their hopes on the shoulders of their goalie Marty O'Neill. Check out the Mill Game of the Week, Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time from the Fleet Center in Boston. We're ready to face it off here in the fourth quarter. Rochester up by 4. Tom Emick with a devastating hit off the break, and we're going to have a backcourt violation. That's why Emick's in this lineup. He stirs the pot. You need some physical play in this league, and I think Barry Powell sensed that in his first 2 games with New York. You need some size. You need some role player guys who are going to be physical, and they're going to rough the opponent up, and Emick's one of those guys. We're having a call right off that faceoff. Take a look at the stats after 3. Look at the shots. Domination by Rochester. Loose balls. Domination by Rochester. Faceoff's about even. The Nighthawks now on a power play off that faceoff. Fasanaro was thrown in the box. Here's Jacobs. In front to Bomberry, who's had a nice evening. To Driscoll. Back to Bomberry. Inside to Jacobs. That's the 5th power play goal by this Nighthawks squad. Watch the pinpoint passing. This is real time. You talk about pinpoint passing. Cam Bomberry, this guy's going to be a big-time impact in this league. We have seen him shoot, but that passing, devastation. When he gets those passing lanes, he just angles the ball and sears it right in there. But the Cobras come back. Chris Bates with his 4th goal. Bates will not go away, as he's single-handedly keeping the Cobras in this ball game here in the 3rd and 4th quarters. Here's Oglesby inside to Bates. Fadeaway shot. Looked like Dietrich got a piece. But Bates providing more than leadership. He's providing offensive firepower. Inside, Cody. Oh, big save by Dietrich. We're going to have a call coming up.
Look, call the slice. Run the slice. Please.
My ball. Right here, right here.
Looks like an elbowing violation against Reggie Thorpe after the shot. A little high with the elbow. Power play opportunity, and definitely an important one for the Cobras. Langhoff. Far side, Fasanaro couldn't control. Shot clock now down to 10 seconds. They've got the power play. This is Langhoff. Saved by Dietrich. Rebound trickles towards the goal, but he scurries and picks it up. Nice outlet pass to Mearns. He's got a one-on-one. Mearns is extremely quick. Bates, nice defense. End-to-end action tonight for Chris Bates, doing it both ends of the field. This is Sudan. Sellout crowd applauding the efforts of this penalty-killing unit. 1:15 to go. Looking to kill some time. Timmy Sudan with the hat trick.
James, hurry up! Hurry up! Hurry up!
Saibo looking for some fresh legs. Let's swing it down to Christy Lee, who's with Todd Katanchik of Charlotte.
Todd, what does this team have to do to stay in this game and eventually win? What are you going to do to step up?
Well, our offense is a little weak right now, but I think if we keep on plugging away, we should get a couple.
How do you like this inside game?
Inside game's a little tough. It's hard to get in there. I mean, as you can see, there's a lot of outside shooting, but it's going to take a little effort to get inside.
Todd's had a good game already tonight, Quint, with some offense for these Cobras.
Yes, he has. Rochester's doing a better job defensively in the second half, protecting the middle of the field, forcing Charlotte into some more outside shot opportunities. And Dietrich, as we know, is one of the best goalies in the league. He's going to make that save. Shot clock down to 3. Lemon is just going to drop it right there. Good recognition by Lemon. Charlotte still up a man. Actually, the penalty now is released as Thorpe comes out onto the floor. Big kill right there. 4-goal differential. You're still in the ball game. You convert, it's only a 3-goal game, but they did not. Rochester, knowing the importance of that situation, really turned it up defensively on that penalty-killing unit. Inside to Lemon. He's looking in front. He finds Driscoll. Back to Lemon. Behind the back. Oh, Menke with a big stop. He's got a break here if he can push it. And does, and Matt Ryder devastates Fasanaro. They got a 3-on-2 the other way. This is Lyons. Oh! Rebound!
Okay.
Amick puts it by Menke. And Menke is stunned by that first shot.
Time out. My time. My time, please. Official time.
Watch the decleating here. Matt Ryder starts it off, pummeling Fasanaro. Here's the goal. Watch Lyons. Oh, Menke took that in the helmet. Emick putting it in over his shoulders. Rochester up by 5. You can feel things really turning in their favor. Take a look at Matt Ryder. welcoming Ken Fasanaro to the barn here in Rochester. Get back to Charlotte, Ryder says. Keying the key sequence, loose ball was picked up by Lyons. And Rochester went into their transition game. Here's Lyons. Watch this cannon shot. Almost decapitating Metke. Emick is there. Puts it by the sprawling goalie. Emick's first goal on the season. And the Nighthawks are up by 5. What an exciting sequence right there. You had a hit, you had a shot off the goalie's face mask, and you had a goal. You don't see that in many other sports. Here's Bomberry up the floor to Kerwick. 10:36 to go. Quinn Kesnick and Christy lead here in Rochester, where Charlotte has refused to give up. They're down by 5. They have been impressive. I'm impressed. This is only their 3rd game as a franchise. A lot of these players have never played in the league before. Far side, Gill. Nice defense by Thorpe. Gill with a weak shot over the goal. Reggie Thorpe does such a fine job. I rate Reggie Thorpe and Brian Volker as the 2 best defensive players in the league. And I think if Rochester is going to do things down the road against Buffalo and Philly, Reggie Thorpe's going to be a key because he's going to have to cover the Gary Gates, Jim Veltman, Tavarises, and Dowlings of the world. He's going to have to stop those players. Vienna dragged down.
Please.
Ball will stay.
Thank you, Dewey. Outside, please. Outside, please. Out here, please. On the dot. Right there.
Dwayne Jacobs has had a nice night. This is Ryder, who delivered that hit earlier. Nice pick and roll. Here's Jacobs in front. Fake, fake. Oh, Metke. Back to Ryder. Count it. Superior quickness by Jacobs and Ryder all over their rebounds, every loose ball. Watch this loose ball activity. Rochester's just all over everything. There's a great save by Metke, but it comes right back to Jacobs. And he finds Ryder in front, who's all alone, and he converts. Opportunistic Matt Ryder. Good hustle by Jacobs. And here come the Nighthawks again. Rex Lyons looking for his first goal of the season.
Hey, handball. Pick the ball up top, please.
Holding violation against Charlotte. As fatigue sets in here, the Nighthawks have really dominated the second half of this ball game. Got a whistle off the ball.
Put the pick off. Put the ball down, please. Put the ball down. Thank you. Right. Your ball.
Off the ball violation for the Nighthawks. Cobras looking to attack. Oglesby, left-handed over the goal. Good defense. Shot clock now down to 5. Controlled by Brian Lemon. Lemon's got a break. They've got a 3-on-2 if they push it. But he chooses not to, waiting for some substitutions from the box. This is Roy Colsey in his first game in the league. Colsey, superstar at Syracuse. There's 6 Syracuse alums on this Nighthawk squad. Colsey, not much of an angle there. Take a look at the shots and goals this half. Only 2 goals for the Cobras on 16 shots. And the Nighthawks have converted. You know, we looked at the shot chart at halftime. It's not as if the Nighthawks were not getting their opportunities. They were not converting. Dwight Metke was an absolute brick wall in the first half. I think he is fatigued a bit. I think the entire Charlotte Cobra defense has fatigued. And now they're converting their opportunities. Russ Hurd leaning in. Hurd's a big guy. Dietrich gets a piece, but it counts for Hurd. Russ Hurd, one of the 3 Canadians now living in Charlotte. Look at him lean in with a big right hand. Dietrich gets a piece. Nice goal. You need some help defensively there for Rochester. Hurd's a guy who should be heard from if you're a Charlotte fan. He's got to step up. They're counting on him for some goals. He's got some experience in the indoor league in Western Canada. (15-10). Any game within 5 goals is still winnable by the team behind. That's kind of a watermark. You can get a couple penalties. Next thing you know, you're on your power play. You can cut that to 3. Next thing you can cut 3 to none. But key opportunity here for the Cobras. They've got to start playing better defense.
Push the start. We're going back with Rochester ball.
Stay, Cat. Cat, get in. See, right now, catching it.
Joey Seibold on the Cobra sideline. Rochester now good. They're going to use the clock every time down the floor. Kill about 10 seconds. Nice pick and roll. Here's Jacobs. Beautiful pick and roll. Mearns and Jacobs. Mearns has got outstanding quickness, and Jacobs is so tough to cover inside because of his size.
On the door.
And that's really a nice combination. Nice play on the near side there. Ball up top. This is Kyle Dirk. He's got outstanding speed. See if he lights it up. Smith. In front, pushing violation. Christie's on the Charlotte bench. Christie.
Russ Hurd's joining me now. He's got a big goal. Your first one in the mill. How did it feel?
Good. Both time. But no, we're fighting in it close. We're going to stay out of penalty trouble, but if we can hold close, we've got another 6 minutes to go. A couple quick ones, we'll be in it.
6 minutes is a long time in the middle of 5 goals, right?
Yeah, we can come back.
All right.
Not giving up hope on the Charlotte sideline. And they control the ball here. We're going to have
double minor and a minor.
A double minor and a minor. Watch the replay inside. A mug job by Dwayne Jacobs. Just brutalizing Kyle Durkee. Watch his neck. Watch this. Oh! Gosh, that had to hurt. Ref right there making the call. Dwayne Jacobs, have a seat for that. Jacobs is not small either. 6'1", 205 pounds. This Rochester team overall is very large. They've got 9 players who weigh more than 200 pounds. Charlotte's only got 3, so I don't think it's smart for Charlotte to try to get physical with this Nighthawk squad. We're 4-on-4. We've got 2 minutes. We'll be 4-on-4 for 2 minutes, and then Charlotte will have a man on power play for 2 minutes after that. So Durkee and Jacobs are in the box for 2. Durkee will come out, and then the Cobras will get an opportunity. So if they can keep this even here, score a goal or 2, they'll have the power play in about a minute and a half. Rex Lyons, nice save by Mecke. He's got a break if they can handle it. This is Oglesby. He's got help. He can't control. Oglesby had the break, couldn't scoop it up. You can see as the body and the legs tire, your stick skills will dwindle also. I guarantee Oglesby makes that play in the first quarter. Driscoll, the veteran, looking up at the clock. Killing some time. That's their ally. Driscoll, saved by Mecke. Bates with the rebound. He's got a man up top. This is Oglesby. He's got a break. Here's Matt Oglesby. Save. Sugar Dietrich ignoring the fakes and holding his ground. Dietrich a little rusty in the first half. He's only let in 3 goals in the second half. Big save there. Bomberry. Mecke all the way out of the crease, stepping up against Cam Bomberry. Reset the shot clock. .425 left to go here at the War Memorial in Rochester. It's a 5-goal game right now. Bomberry inside. Kerwood couldn't convert. Bates looks like he's got fresh legs. He's got 4 goals, looking for more. Penalty is released, so Charlotte now is on the power play. They're substituting their first-line power play in the game. Oglesby will key it from up top. That's Fasanaro. Flipping off to Langhoff. Saved by Dietrich. full split. I tell you, they're scrapping down below. 15-10. These two teams are going at it. Colsey and Thorpe for Rochester. The Nighthawks are up by 5. Take a listen to these hits. Those are two guys you don't want to mess with right there. Roy Colsey and Reggie Thorpe. Very physical. I know Roy Colsey, big weightlifter. He's a guy you'll hear of more and more as he gets familiar with his indoor game. But Charlotte showing me something there, going into the corner with those big guys, standing up with them. Randy Mearns, one-on-one with Langhoff. Mearns, left, right, bounce shot wide. 3-on-2 opportunity now. Here's Bates looking for help. He's got a trailer on the far side. Good hustle by the Nighthawks getting in the hole. The Cobras now on a power play, saved by Dietrich. Rebound Bates. They need 5. They can't sit around. Clock down at 2:40. Bates down low. Off the pipe. Behind the back by Oglesby, missed the goal. Nice job by Dietrich. The Rochester defense gave up a couple shots there, but Dietrich has just been outstanding in the second half. He's only given up 3 goals. 2:15 left here. Ryder, time and room. Metke control.
Other way, guys. Both towards the floor. That's the way.
Oglesby taking it across the line. Why is he looking to slow it up? They're down by 5 with 1:50 to go. They've got to push it. Here's Smith. Nice pick by Durkee. Smith couldn't convert. Backcourt violation. So Rochester accomplishes a couple things tonight. They prove they can win without Paul Gate. And they get a couple rookies into the action. Colsey, Fietta. And that will pay dividends later in this season. Unfortunate loss last week against New York. Rochester really thought they could be 4-0 early on in this season, but New York obviously is a team to look out for. And conversely, Charlotte has been very impressive tonight. Played a great first half, really a sloppy third quarter where they were outscored by 5 goals, and they've played even here in the fourth quarter. Silcott going coast to coast. Gives it up to Kerwick. We've got a minute to go. Sudan, Bomberry. Bomberry with a dip and dunk. No goal. Bill Fox right there giving the crease indication. You can see Bomberry. He's got those big fakes. Gave him the dip and then the dunk. Ball trickled in, but he was in the crease. 45 seconds to go. Oglesby looking for help. Lights it up off the pipe. Sudan with some hustle. Colsey back to Sudan. And Sudan will be whistled for a free hand. Tried to catch it with his glove hand. Sudan's played a great game. Here's McCready, far side. Hurd looks for Katanchik inside. It's not there. Park up front. He's got Kerwick. Wide. Back to Kerwick again, missing the goal. Rat-like quickness for Kerwick, scurrying around the goal. Driscoll, as time runs out, the Nighthawks will get the victory and improve to 2-1. Sluggish early. They played a great third and fourth quarter to take the victory, 15-10, here from the barn in Rochester.